We're doing a documentary on the subject of racial imagery in religion and the types of psychological effects that racial images might have on the minds of children. And I'd like to ask you a few questions. Could I get a few answers from you?
Yes, you may.
All right, thank you. Um, how old are you first?
65.
65, all right. Could you describe when you were coming up as a child, how you saw Jesus? Could you describe him for me?
In physical form or?
Yeah, whatever form you.
Uh, I guess I would have to say that I saw Jesus as a light skinned, straight hair, representation of God.
Okay, all right. When you
In
say
the physical sense.
okay, when you say a representation of God, explain that to me.
Well, I was taught that Jesus is the Son of God.
Okay.
So anytime I thought of Jesus, I thought of him in that position.
Okay. All right. Do you think that by seeing Jesus in a national identity, do you think that that kind of imagery might have a effect on the minds of children who, in any kind of way?
Yeah, I can't speak for children. I can only speak for myself in growing up. And it wasn't so much the fact that he was white, because I was raised here in Carbondale, so you know, I was around white people all the time. I can't say that I had a negative view just because he was white, because in growing up I didn't have any issues with white people. Of course, back then I didn't socialize with them that often, and some of the ones that I saw was kind. My experience with Jesus was in the people that practiced Christianity at the time. So my influence was the people in my neighborhood that attended church.
So, do you think that if I'm just going to speak hypothetically now, if I can ask you a hypothetical type of question. Do you think that if everything was reversed and a thick-lipped, dark-skinned, nappy-headed African-American man was shown to the world as the image of God, do you think that it might have had some type of effect on the minds of, people in the world?
Yeah, no, and I'm going to tell you why. You know, they've done a lot of studies with kids, psychologists. And one of the experiments that they use is they put a white doll down and they put a black doll down, and they ask the child to pick which doll they would like to play with. And most of the time, they pick the white doll. Now, if I take that to the level that you're talking about, if Jesus was it might be that more people will reject, more people of color will reject.
So,
and you make a very interesting point about what goes on out here tonight. The reason we do some of the stuff we do is our disrespect for each other. You know? So.
That's a very good answer. So, does that mean that there might be a possibility that some of the bad behavior that we see, or the self-hating type of attitude, if we can call it that, that we see existing in many communities, in particular the African American community, you think that might have had that imagery and religion might have had some type of contributing factor towards that behavior? You think that image might have brought about that kind of behavior in self-hatred in African Americans?
You know, and knowing what I know now, I would say it's more of the Willie Lynch syndrome that's causing most of the problem.
I see.
So it's not doesn't necessarily have. I think, me personally, I think religion has saved the black man. You know, because if you go back even to the slavery era. There was, you know, white Christian that start raising all the saying about slavery in Rome.
Yeah, abolitionists.
Yeah, abolitionists. So, if and then another thing it has done is that it gives all people value. You know.
Oh, definitely.
And that it put all of us on an equal playing field. It let me know that in the eyes of God that whites are no more important than blacks, and blacks no more important than that race doesn't enter into. You know, it's kind of what Martin Luther King said. You know, don't judge by the color of skin, but the content of your character. So that's basically what it's saying, you know.
Okay.
Is that just because you're black, you don't have to act ugly, and because you're white, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be good. So.
But you will agree that there has been a preference in this society that things that are of lighter complexion, or people that are of lighter complexion, or not just people of things, you know, that were alike, were considered to be better than things that were dark. You know, that idea.
But I don't know if it's got anything to do with religion.
But you don't think, you think that maybe there might, if people were sort of thinking of or looking at a picture of God in the flesh as being a man of one particular race, that might make them desire to be somewhat like that particular race, or look at that particular race as being very close to God, or closer to God than they are because they don't look like God?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, as Christians, but you know, I'm not, and I guess because of my life experience, the color of God is really, because first of all, we believe that God is a spirit. And what color is a spirit? Yeah. And I'll tell you something else that's helped a lot too, and that's the history of mankind, and even the scientific community have discovered that creation began in Africa. So, you know,
Interesting.
you know, back probably in the early, 1900s, it may, I don't even know if it had any influence then, but in this day and age, I can't see how it would make a difference. I mean, when you were illiterate, then you didn't have a whole lot of, you didn't have a whole lot of exposure to information. But in this age, and all the things that have come out, I can't really see how it would make a difference.
How it would make much of a difference.
Especially as a Christian, there's a phrase, don't make any difference what color his skin is as long as his blood is red.
I understand.
Because we believe that, we're saved by what was done out on Calvary, by the shedding of blood, and it doesn't make any difference what color. I mean, especially in this day and age where you go and you give blood to the Red Cross, and the only thing they're looking for is if it's a match,
Yeah. Yeah, that's for the human being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, if we say that God has a color or a nationality,
but see, we don't believe
that God have a color or
God
nationality.
has a color.
That's right. So that's so let me ask you this: if social scientists and psychologists did research on the subject we're talking about now of racial imagery and religion and the psychological effects that it might have on the minds of children, if they did research and they found out that sure enough these particular types of pictures, statues, and paintings that have been promoted as the image of God in the flesh have had some type of devastating psychological effect on the minds of children, would you be inclined to call for people to remove them from their homes if they found that these images were causing psychological damage to the minds of children?
As a Christian, I have a problem with it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I look at it personally as graven images, and that's idolatry. From a personal point of view.
Yes.
And really, I don't let other people define what I believe.
Yes.
At one time, you go to church on Sunday and the preacher define who God is. But then everybody got a Bible now.
Yes.
So, it's our responsibility is to define God for ourselves as the scripture teaches.
Yes.
So,
So you're basically saying that you would probably be in favor of removing these type of images from the faces of children, so children wouldn't be able to take in the wrong idea. Is that what you're saying? Or when you said graven
No.
images, I'm asking, what do you said graven images, and that sort of made me that made me sort of think, about taking them down. If you see them as a graven image, would you be willing to take?
Personally, I would.
Yes.
But I'm not suggesting that, the good and bad makes up life experiences, So, people have to come to their own, or have to be guided by their own conscience. It's the freedom of religion.